Every country on earth is drowning in debt. But here's the part almost nobody understands. Governments aren't trying to pay this debt off. Not now, not ever. The United States owes over $38 trillion. Europe owes $14 trillion. Japan owes $9 trillion. In total, the world has accumulated more than $315 trillion in debt. 3 times the size of the global economy. So, if every country owes money, who is the creditor? And how does the system not collapse under numbers that big? Today, we're going to break this down. Not with fear, but with history, structure, and the mechanics behind the global debt machine. Most people imagine debt as something dangerous, something you must eventually pay back. But government debt is different. It isn't a bill waiting to be collected. It's the foundation of the modern financial system. Government bonds were originally created as wartime IOUs. But over centuries, they evolved into the safest asset on earth. Banks, pension funds, insurance companies, even money market funds all depend on them. When you hear the phrase U.S. debt, what you're really hearing is the backbone of the world's money. Contrary to popular belief, the biggest owner of U.S. debt is not China. It's Americans, pension funds, retirement accounts, corporations, ordinary citizens through treasury funds. Foreign governments hold only about 30%. So, who is the U.S. really indebted to? Its own people, its own institutions, its own financial system. This is why America can safely run deficits for decades, because the creditors are inside the system itself. Here's the secret economists know, but the public rarely hears. Countries do not pay off their debt. They roll it over forever. When old bonds expire, governments issue new ones. This process keeps money flowing and the financial system stable. If a country suddenly paid all its debt back, it would drain hundreds of billions out of the economy. Banks would lose their safest assets. Markets would collapse. The system requires government debt, because debt is the safe asset the world builds everything on. When the Federal Reserve creates money, it doesn't print it. It creates it by buying government debt. When the Fed buys a bond, the bond enters the Fed's balance sheet, and new money enters the banking system. Debt becomes money. This is why modern economies need debt to grow. If governments stopped issuing bonds, central banks couldn't create liquidity, and lending, mortgages, and credit markets would freeze. So what's the truth behind global debt? Debt is not a warning sign. Debt is not a countdown clock. Debt is the operating system of the modern world. It grows because the economy grows. It expands because finance requires it. And it survives because nations, institutions, and citizens all depend on it. Once you see how this machine really works, the headlines about trillions of debt never look the same again. Thank you for watching EconHours. If you'd like to see more deep dives into the history behind modern economics, make sure to subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel grow. And remember, Understanding the system is the first step to navigating it.